We flipped a coin, okay? You and me. You and me. Coin flip is sacred.
Y'all ready for a show today, baby?
Go time, baby. We've been waiting all week for this. This is where it happens right here, man. We man up, we stand up. We man up, we stand up. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got.
Hit anything that moves. We're playmakers, man. We the best, nothing less.
You don't like this? Trust me, you don't like it.
We're between the white lines. This is football. Welcome to the big league. I won the toss. I took the football. Drive it down that throat.
Are you out of your lives? Are you out of your skull? Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Game time! Game time!
Welcome, everybody. Week 14 of the coin flip. A lot of people are at the point in time where they're either burned out on NFL or they are diving in deep with season-long playoffs starting this week. I was just telling JB about a brutal beat for me Tuesday night on the very last play. Lost the number one seed of my season-long on the last play by 0.14. Still in the playoffs, but I got to go a different path than having the number one seed. DFS-wise, at this point, I tend to see people either get extremely burned out, tired of losing per se, or, you know, historically betting and DFS-wise, December and January has been my best months, both. I don't know if that's because we have more data. It's easier to identify big potential plays, go against the public rides the favorites, yada yada. I don't know if it has to do with perception, reality, playoff football, like it means more, you know, that's all anecdotal, but just historically, since I've been, you know, pushing all the stuff I've done, you know, personally, and then obviously turned into Gup's Corner, December and January, I've absolutely cleaned up NFL. Having said that, I have absolutely sucked ass this year in the betting world, especially college football. NFL, I'm treading water. You know, I think I'm up 3 units in total, mainly because of I hit a 6-star, and then my 2 stars are 5, 2, and 1 on the year. College football is my worst year by far. It's not even close. I put out a deal yesterday that I'm unless I feel it's a 2-star rated play, everything will be a personal play for college football through the end of the year. And that's not only because of me. It's just, I'm not going to blame COVID or anything like that, but I've talked to guys that I even have higher regards than myself in the college football world, and it's been their worst year ever. So, you know, is sharp money, dump money? Could be. I have no idea. I really don't, but I'm not going to battle it or cost subs and you know, members, albeit when I've polled the members or talked to them, they everybody wants action, right? And some people are putting $1 a night in, $5 on bets. If you're watching a game, you want to have a little bit of action. It kind of where the prop gets in. I haven't done a good job with the props because for all intents and purposes, a lot of the books, like once you start getting leverage on them, the limits are so little for me that my interest isn't there. And that's not probably fair to the subs, but that is an area where I think we can capitalize. It's just the limits are so little, the interest for me goes away a little bit. But I think playoffs and all that kind of stuff, we can have some fun there. Certainly think like Monkey Knife Fight, you know, we're partnered with, love their platform, going to do a better job in 2021 of whether it's me or getting someone from the team to kind of take our information, our content, put out plays. I think that's a spot you can. It's a little harder because obviously you're having to pick 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x type, you know, parlays, if you will, you know, trying to hit 2 or 3 or 4 different, you know, over unders, but it's doable. And the money return there can be, there's no limits per se, can be higher than trying to pick an over under in the NFL market. Even though those are great, they're just not the markets aren't liquidable enough for me to I don't want to say waste my time on it. I just can't profit like I can in betting. This has been an extremely tough year betting wise, but NFL, I'm all right. You know, up and down weeks. Like I said, still up on the year, barely, you know, 3 units. college football, I just can't. I mean, I literally, anything I get on, some has been tough beats, some have been horrific plays, some have been, you know, anything that's been a 2-star or higher, I've done fairly well at. I'm dead even on the year as far as units go. So I'm just like, all right, these one-off 1-star plays, I'll just put them out there as personal plays. If they hit, they hit. You know, last night I hit the NFL. I think I hit the NFL bet and lost the college, which seems to be, you know, and both were just kind of personal plays, but very strange year. And we can kind of sum that up with, I mean, hell, Debo died last night, right? And that just kind of has 20, you know, my kids, obviously, my oldest is just now almost to the point where I'd let him watch it. And we did let him watch some of it. Obviously, some of it we fast forward through Friday. But, you know, Debo was a iconic figure when I grew up, right? That movie came out 95. I mean, I was 12, 13, 14. I was heading into high school at that time, you know, late middle school, high school. Still a movie that, you know, I'd watch anytime. Top 5, top 10 all-time movie is Friday. And many references. Hell, even I think last week, I know in the last 2 weeks, he was featured on the 49ers are playing a night game with Debo Samuel, and they had a little entry with the Debo from Friday on it. So to see him pass away, you know, it was a sad deal. And there's another deal we're dealing with in this environment. You know, and I was talking to my wife last night, and that was kind of the 11 days I've been off Twitter, personal Twitter. It's really, I don't want to say cleansed me, but in a sense, you know, I focus more on the things that are important. I feel more refreshed. I feel not as stressed, and sent out a big email last night or yesterday to the team discussing some of that stuff and kind of our focus for 2021. And some guys in Slack have been posting some things that have been inspirational and very it's just a different, we have a community like no other, and many of the guys have said that in there, and I really am looking forward to 2021. The email that I sent my team, we're going to go back and forth on some things, button it up, and basically I will send a very similar out to the community so you guys know what our goal and plans are for the year, which is going to be amazing. We have a lot of awesome things coming in 2021. By this time next year, I think we will be one of the leaders in the industry with everything we offer. I think we're there now. We just don't, you know, we're well overdue for a new website, and that's already started. So new website, I mean, that's just one of the things you'll hear on the email, that the new website will be out early mid next year, mobile friendly, that kind of stuff. The new website will allow us to do things in our tools packages that the current structure won't. So some of the things we've tested and worked on already, I'm super excited for, you know, and for all intents and purposes, the value that 42% of our members, which are of our total members, that's the number that were original guys that are paying $6-7 a month, $5 to $6 a month, $5 to $7 a month, if you will, because they locked in their price, and good for them, right? They took advantage of it. I can't hate them. Are they, you know, getting advantage of the whole entire thing we've grown? Sure. But hey, they're our foundation. You joined us when we did, and that's why it's important when we talk about buying gear and helping out. I mean, you guys that are getting this product that you should be paying $20-30 a month for minimum, you know, it really helps us when you do. And hopefully when the email comes out, you guys will see what the capital we're putting back into the product and all the support you guys can help. If every one of our members had one friend sign up in 2021, the capital and money that would bring to us, even with the discounts and everything, would be, you know, monumental for us. We're already ahead of where we thought we'd be in year 2, but it would be huge, and just allows us to continue to grow and grow and grow and bring what I think is one of the better products in the industry, and it, without a doubt, the best community in the industry. We may not have all the, you know, high octane, super optimizing this and that. We don't have 50 guys on our staff. Like, we're a roll up our sleeves and do what we can do. And yeah, we don't offer every single thing, but we're going to send out a survey. I told the community that I'm really interested to see some of the responses, because I genuinely think the majority of players in DFS, and I'm talking 90 percentile, either A, don't comprehend all the Galaxy Brain super high tech tools, or B, like it's a KISS philosophy. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Like, most people like want a tool that they can comprehend and be able to use and understand it better than it to have all these bells and whistles that the 5% of guys in the industry are really using. You know, the guys that are playing 10,000 a week or 10,000 a day, most people aren't. They're playing $100 a week here or there. And while they want tools, it's like, I don't want to pay this to go get them, and I want to understand them better. So instead of trying to be like everybody else, one of the things like, we're going to be us, and we're going to do better at showing how to use the stuff and be better at that. And so a lot of the tutorial videos, I've done some, but it's been a while. So I'm going to do a whole lot more in the next 3 weeks. They're going to be mostly premium member only videos, help you guys understand the tools, give you all different kind of options. And it's really 2021 is going to be amazing for us. I'm so excited for it. The team's all bought in. We may add or, still enhance that team and add some people to it. We need some bench strength, as a local term would be called. Bobby uses that a lot, but for all intents and purposes, our foundation, our core is so strong. For this week, NFL, it's a unique week because probably is outside the first week, maybe second week. But even then, there was 2 Monday night games, Thursday nights. I don't know if we've had a true 13 game main slate, maybe once, but if not, this is one of the first times. 26 teams to digest. The ownership aggregate, it's the first time of the year I hadn't had a aggregate game over. Not only is not over 100%, I don't have one over 90%. I don't have one over 85%. The highest one is Tennessee and Jacksonville at 83. Most of it's on Tennessee side. Then Green Bay, Detroit, 82. Most of it's on Green Bay side. So a few chalky spots: Tennessee, Green Bay, Seattle. And then the next highest is the Chargers at 42% aggregate. And then from there, it's pretty balanced. Like, you have many options this week to go on your builds. I've sort of fallen in love with the single entry or 3 max stuff, even if it's a higher dollar amount. Instead of putting like 20 max here, this, that, and the other, I'm taking my same bankroll, and I'd rather put 2 or 3 in a higher, I don't want to say higher dollar, because a dollar it's a lower amount of entries. I seem to do better in that because I'm not having to battle against 100,000 different lineups or entries and so on and so forth. Even if you max those, it's still difficult to do them. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and at least been treading water with that. And then, Ryan's got our cash game, on fire. So that saves me. I've done more cash. When I first started it, I sucked. And so I kind of stopped because I was like embarrassed for what I was doing, knowing that Ryan was doing such a good job and I couldn't seem to figure it out. But I've been doing it the last few weeks, and cash has basically brought me back to close to even on Sunday. So I don't think I'll get to cash and like golf and all that, because I think my edge there is way greater than NFL. But and one thing I'll talk about with the members, like, don't be afraid to adapt and change and alter the way you do things. At least try it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If it's not working, like, don't quit it after 1 week. And we talk about that a lot. But if you're doing a process and you go, man, I am just not doing well here, change it up. And it doesn't have to be for every sport. I'm absolutely crushing college football this year. We all are. I mean, we are literally the best site community in the college football industry, period, bar none. It's not even close. Our members win more per dollar put in than anybody else in the industry. And I put that up against anybody. I really don't care. It's not even remotely close. So I'm sticking to what I do there, and I know it. But NFL, I'm treading water. I'm losing here and there. So I'm like, all right, I need to reevaluate myself and what can I be successful in NFL, or just not play it. So I switched it up. I went to cash. First time I've ever done cash. All right, that's at least keeping me afloat. And then I'm trying some other tactics, and they seem to work out. And that'll be a big focus of mine for golf, especially next year, is really giving some different ideas for contest and strategy. We've talked about bankroll, and I think our community knows it and does it well, but how do you best use your dollars in those contests to get your potential ROI? And what is your expectations? Are you trying to win a $20,000 jackpot every week? Are you trying to 2X, 3X, 4X? Totally different mindset. So that's a bit, I'm excited to get some of that stuff out, obviously getting off track here, but to be able to, I've only stepped away for 3 or 4 days now, no golf this week. And I feel so much recharged. Just every night I watch the Christmas movie with my kids. Last night we substituted it with Friday just because, pay our homage to Debo, but been watching Christmas movies with them and just hanging out and being with the family has been a recharge of life for me and really got me back fired up, ready to go for next year. Going to make some changes so I don't burn, both ends of the candles type of deal that, when golf starts that first week of January, we don't stop until September. Like there's literally no weeks off. So we got to prep and make sure we're able to bring that fire and bring everything we bring to the community each and every week. So we're going to change some things up to make sure we can do that. And it's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it. I can't wait. This is going to be probably a fairly quick pod to an extent because there's not a lot of questions, which is great. I've said that before, and we get to Sunday and like all hell breaks loose on Saturday. But as of now, we're pretty much, we have no move games. We have no COVID right now. I think the Carolina game potentially has some issues. At least I know in the books they had the lines were off, but I don't think it's serious enough that anything's going to happen with that game. So injury wise, everything's pretty much shaken out. I think McCaffrey's probably the one. Is he going to play? Is he not? How much is he going to play? We'll get into that, but I feel pretty good about the entire process and where we are for a Friday morning, right? Well, obviously I will not be doing the Audible this week. My son's birthday is Sunday. So we'll be spending time with him. He wants to, go out for breakfast and all that kind of stuff. So, family first, I got to abide by that, but I will do a detailed write-up in my final thoughts, either Saturday night or early Sunday morning. I'll probably get up early before he gets up, finish the final thoughts, go in depth there. I'll be in and out of Slack as I can. And of course the team members will be there, but no live audible this week, for his birthday. But outside of anything crazy coming up, we'll kind of wait for ownership to settle a little bit. Projections and all that. I really don't see much changing unless something crazy comes up. So we'll just get into it. Right now, all listeners, you can use the code GC15 for 15% off of any membership, any package you want. If you want to upgrade and you're a current member, DM us. We'll see what our best loyalty offer today we can get you. Rate and review us on iTunes. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, click the like button, click the notification bell. A big push for us in 2021 is to get our YouTube presence up. We're close to a big announcement on several fronts in the next few weeks. So, some golf stuff, some NFL stuff, some community stuff, all that stuff's going to come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be awesome. Listener League is up. DraftKings bumped it by 100 entries. Still the same 3 max, but with no golf, they wanted to see if we could fill that up. Let's go get that full. All our gear is up in the store. We may or may not had a few extra orders that we put in on the new gear, so keep your eyes up on the store for that. Last week's winner, Westy 132, Ollie 12, and Tavery 01. I'm very confident Westy 132 has already finished in the top 3, and I think Ollie 12 may have. I'll send y'all's invites out here this morning if you aren't already in it. Had a solid lineup, one that I virtually think I was reviewing his lineup. I was like, I think I talked about all these guys, and yet I didn't build this lineup. So he did a good job, went through his process, had Carr, Robinson, Montgomery, Jefferson, Crowder, QT, Waller. Obviously, Waller was a big play last week. Eckler and the Falcons D. So solid lineup. Hopefully he had in some other stuff this week. Like I said, 13 game slate, 7 early, 6 late. So the late swap comes into play for sure. We can get into that. I think some people overdo that and they kind of get off of their builds. It's not about being unique. It's about setting yourself up in the right situation. So if you're like on fire after the early games and you were avoiding chalk in the late, and maybe you can go to the chalk because to be safe, that's a possibility. If you're way behind, you don't need to be on any chalk in the late game. That's really what the scenario is. It's where am I at and where do I want to be? Do I want to try to win something or do I want to try min cash and save my day? And those swaps, that's when it comes in. I think sometimes people swap too much and they get themselves out of a good lineup that was going to cash already. And they're like, well, I'm going to cash, but I want to win it. Okay. Well, you're prepared for that risk. But if you have a solid lineup and the guys you're on the late are guys pretty solid, then there's no reason to move. Like, unless, yes, you're like, these guys are going to be for me to get up and win this GPP or MME or whatever, I need to move off of this guy and go to this guy. That's something you have to think through. It'll be bigger this week because this is the biggest late slate we've had, 6 games. Biggest slate, like I said, 13 in total. I'll be in Slack that afternoon. By that time, we'll have all the birthday stuff done. So if you genuinely have concerns, questions, whatever, you can always hit us up in Slack. We'll take care of that. If you got some, if you're like, I don't know what to do, whether I'm in there or not, we have enough sharp guys in the NFL chat that you can throw that question out and we'll work through it. You know, that's one benefit of being part of this community is our Slack is so amazing. Last night, obviously we all watched the game. Okay game. I mean, I thought it was going to go under. It did. Slow paced. Rams beat the Patriots. Sunday Night Football is Steelers Bills, I think. Why did I not feel like that's right? Hold on real quick. Week 14. Yep. Steelers Bills, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Ravens Browns. So those I'll have the showstoppers out normal like I always do. No moved games as of now. As I mentioned, we'll go through the playbook, every position, play, fade, and value, stack attack, betting, survivor. If you're still in it, I am still alive, barely. But I hadn't even looked to see how many survived last week in my biggest, the one I do every year. But if you're still in it, I got some opinions there on where we need to go this week as we approach the end of the season. I mentioned no audible this week, but we'll wrap up some final thoughts and get out of here. For me, play quarterbacks. We'll start there. I just like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, rinse and repeat there. I can't get off it. He's not the highest price. So against Detroit, who we've seen is absolutely horrific. Yeah, there's some concern of a blowout, but it's an interdivision game. So I think Detroit will at least be competitive enough to keep Aaron throwing. And Aaron's out to prove a point this year. We've said that, and he's doing it, right? I would 1-2 him and Mahomes for MVP in my eyes. And Josh Allen's a close third, but I would say most valuable to the team, those are the three, and you could probably put them in any order. I'm not going to argue one way or the other, but I think Detroit will be competitive in this game. It's a rivalry game. Like I said, be good enough to keep them throwing, and I love Rodgers this week. It's just simple put. Like if I did a bullet, he'd probably be my starting piece. And then Russell. We talk about that get-right game, right? You lose to the Giants. All of a sudden, the Giants and Redskins are world beaters, just destroying teams last week. What's the real Giants, right? I'm sorry, and they, so 5 points at halftime for Seattle. Second half, back and forth, Giants win. Now Seattle gets the Jets. If you ever wanted a get-right game, that's it, right? I do think they'll try to run the ball, but I think Russ will cook a little bit, for lack of a better term. And it is a big spread. I don't trust Pete Carroll enough if they get way up Russ could not do well in this game because if they get up, I expect Pete to run the ball. So that's why he was like my second play behind the best ceiling, I think, is Russell, but I like Aaron more because I think they will continue to do what they do. Seattle could run the ball the second half if they're up 2 or 3 touchdowns easily. So that's my only fear there. And Rodgers is $400 cheaper, but I do like both of them. My fade this week is Tannehill. I think they're going to run the ball. Henry's going to be a play. We'll get there in a second. I think they're going to run the rock. They're going to, they're almost a double-digit favor over the Jaguars. Jaguars can't stop the run. Henry is a beast. They're going to feed him. I see Tennessee winning this fairly comfortably, and I think that hurts Tannehill. I don't think he'll probably have a good, decent game, but he could have like 220 yards and a passing touchdown, and they could win by 20 points. I really think they're going to run the ball. It's late. It's December. They're on the road. They want to get the win, get out of there, and let's go. They're going to win. I mean, they're a good favorite of mine for the survivor pick if you still have them. But I don't like the situation for him, and I think his ceiling's low this week. Not a ton of value at quarterback as far as dollars go. I would say Tua just because he's 5,400, and they're going to have to throw the ball a lot against Kansas City. And Kansas City's secondary can be thrown on a little bit. Do I trust Tua? Not a lot, but for 5,400 and 1% owned, if you're looking for a pivot in a big MME or something off the wall, could he get there? Could he throw for 300 yards and some scrap garbage? They're down by a bunch late in the second half. Yeah, he could. Throwing a rushing touchdown, he pays off, right? I think he's viable if you're trying to go that route this week. My second is Glennon. Same kind of deal. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to be behind on Tennessee. I think they'll struggle a little bit running. I do like Robinson this week, but Glennon will have to throw to be competitive in this game. He's $5,100, so he's even cheaper than Tua. I got him 2-3% owned. If you're going that route and you want to save money there or be a unique build in a big MME, I think Glennon's in play this week. Personally, I think I'm going to go up top at quarterback this week. I don't see myself paying down. I could talk myself out of that by the time we get to Sunday, but right now, like if I'm doing a bullet, it's going to start with Rodgers or Russell, probably Rodgers. If I'm doing a 3 max, I'll probably have both those guys, and maybe I'll throw one of those 2 values in. But I could see myself doing 2 Roger lineups and trying to be unique in one of them. Running backs, Henry's my play. I just talked about it. I think he'll eat this week. I think he's by far the best play on the slate at 8,700. I know he's expensive. I hope McCaffrey's in. I hope he's all in. Everybody's going to be playing him. I hope that happens because it gives us big leverage this week. I think McCaffrey's not a great play at all. He is my fade of the week. We'll get there in a second, but I love Henry. Yeah, you're paying up, but he's still cheaper. He's $700 cheaper than Cook. Tampa Bay's run D is pretty solid, although I think Cook is not a terrible play because of the ownership. Henry's the highest owned, but you know we're not getting cute here. If you want to play Henry. My second is Carson. Like I mentioned, I think Seattle will run the ball against the Jets. I think if they get up, they're going to want to run it even more. I think Hyde could be in play as a $5,100 2%. He gets enough carries to get there if you're trying to save some money and be a little unique. But from the starter now, I like Carson. He's only 6,900. A little cheaper than like a Henry Jones and all those kind of guys. Cook, McCaffrey, saving a little bit of money. I think he's a solid play this week. My fade, I mentioned McCaffrey. I hope he's in and plays. I just don't see many scenarios. Denver's they're 10 in DVOA, on Football Outsiders. They have a decent D, and they can, even like versus the Saints, like they should have, they held their own at times. And I don't know. So yes, the last time he came in and he played, they let him get back to his usage. What happened? He got hurt. Why on earth in week 14 of this year do you need to workhorse Christian McCaffrey right now? You don't. You need him to be healthy next year. This is anecdotal, but I think even if he's healthy and plays, they still get Davis in some, and it's hard for me to pay. If he was 6,800, 7,200, I'm fine with that. Play him. 9,200 for so many unknowns. Even if he's active, if he kills me this week, he kills me. I'm complete fade, 100%, want no part of it. Value for me, David Johnson on the outskirts looks like why would you play him against the Bears? But 5,200, 2%, he catches enough if they have to throw that even against the Bears, I think he can get there for $5,200. He gets 14 to 16 points. That's not bad for $5,200. I don't think many will be on him. Like I said, I got him 2 or 3%. I like David Johnson as a value this week. DeAndre Swift, if healthy and back, I like him. I don't think many will go there, especially at $6,500. If anything, Green Bay can be run on. And this goes back to, we talk about this all the time. My game script in my head is Detroit will be competitive enough. A lot of that has to do with Swift. Swift is a game changer for Detroit. He owns the usage now. So he's back. He's going to get the majority of the carries. And I think he'll have a good game, good enough against Green Bay. And he does have receiving capabilities that I think they stay within the game to keep it competitive. They probably lose by 10 to 14 at the end, but I think it's a lot more like 38-24 than 30 to 10, right? And who wants the Lions right now? Nobody. They look garbage, but I think if he's back in full go, he's a guy I'm willing to get on at a very low percentage. No one's going to be there at $6,500. So DeAndre Swift's the guy that's on my radar for this week. Wide receivers, Adams, lock and load. There's 2 people I can't get away from right now, and it's Devontae Smith, who is now up to I have to ask Bobby this. I know we've talked about it in the Slack. I don't know if I've ever seen a wide receiver at $10,000. I'm fairly certain we've never seen a college wide receiver at $10,000. So he's the first one ever. He still would have 5X last week at $10,000. He's that, just watching him, he's that damn good. He is amazing. And I'll probably still play him at $10,000. I don't know who's going to stop him. I know LSU's not very good, but wow. He's amazing. And Adams is the same way. Like the dude gets so many targets, and everybody knows it, and they're still not stopping him. And Detroit damn sure is not going to stop him. Is lock and load. Adams, move on, right? Jefferson, same. He's getting there. Him and Metcalf to me are he's a rookie, so Metcalf's got a little on him, but he's $1,000 cheaper than Metcalf. He's a third of the ownership right now. Tampa Bay secondary is not great. We've seen that. I think Minnesota goes in there. They give them all they want. Could win. Free play of the week. Vikings plus 6.5. I already released it. I think that game is going to be a lot closer. Minnesota's fighting for their playoff life. I like Jefferson. I like Thielen. We'll get to that in a minute. I think they're going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game. Fade Robbie Anderson. I know people are going to go to him, being that it looks like some banged up wide receivers there. He does look like a good play, 6,200. He's just right now, he is outside of Adams. He's the highest projected own for me. So I don't know. I want to eat that. And Denver is good enough. Like I just mentioned, 10th in DVOA. Their secondary is pretty good. They'll put some pressure on Carolina. I don't mind Anderson. I just don't know. I want to eat the chalk on it. So if you want to play him, be overweight. But for me, it's a fade this week. Value, McLaurin, 4%. What are we paying for him this week? 6,700. So not terrible, but he's 4% owned. So he's my number 6 ranked wide receiver in the rankings. I will post these, by the way, today, but I was finishing up some things this morning on him. So for the premium members, full rankings will be out a little later, but 4% McLaurin. I know San Francisco's gotten better, but in their secondary is definitely getting healthier. I still think he can break out. I think Alex Smith has made them he's good enough that they can be competitive. Obviously they beat Pittsburgh last week, but McLaurin is one pass play away from breaking he can literally get a 70-yard touchdown pass. We know that. I like his upside, $6,700. As a one-off value play, I like him. Mims, I've been on him a lot. Back and forth. Seattle, we know secondary is not the best. It's actually one of the worst in the league. If they can give him Darnold a little bit of time, I think the Jets can get some yardage, and I think he could get a lot late in garbage time. And he's a big target, was great at Baylor, $4,100, a great value play for me. Denzel Mims is my second value play of the week. Tight ends, Kelsey. I don't know if I get there, but I'm not, again, let's not get cute, right? He's the best play on the slate, but best tight end, not even remotely close. Waller has flashes to be that talent, but Kelsey delivers week in and week out. I can't tell you not to play him. So if you want to pay up, he's $7,400. You just act like he's your wide receiver 2 and you just play him. He's so consistent. I think Waller for $600 cheaper and half the ownership is just as viable this week against the Colts, but I'm just not going to get cute there. He's the best play. You got to play him. My fade is Hawkinson. I just don't like what I've seen from him this year. And $5,000, if I had to pick one, it's him. There's not a lot of fades at tight end, but if there was one that, he's the third highest in ownership right now, I'd rather just either pay one of the big boys, Kelsey or Waller, or I'd drop down to my value play is Tanyan. I'd go Hunter Henry. Gronk is even in the mix. One of those cheaper guys. That middle salary range for tight ends for me is a dead zone because they just don't return enough that I'm either going to pay up to a guy like Kelsey and Waller that I think can literally get me 15 to 20 points, or go cheap, go low 4,000s, high 3,000s, pick one out, hope they hit that week. Schultz, 3,500 against the Bengals. He's not going to, flash anything, but could he pay off? Certainly he could. So, that's where I'm going to go there. So Hawkinson, I don't want to pay 5,000 for him. My value was Tanya, and I talked about that. Defense, play of the week is Seahawks. I think that's probably, $3,000. They're going to be the highest own. Eat it if you want, move on. Is what it is. Value, Cowboys, right? $2,400. Defense has not shown anything great, but they're playing the Bengals. I don't even know who the quarterback right now. I think the starter got banged up, not Burrow, the other starter. Maybe Finley. I don't know who's going to be the quarterback for the Bengals, but as bad as Dallas sucks, you could get a pick six. You could get CD Lamb's returning kicks. Maybe you duel it, go CD, a little mini stack. I don't mind that with the Cowboys this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. They can still score on offense. We've seen that. They're not great, but it is the Bengals, right? So if you go CD and the Cowboys, he takes a kickback. That's a double touchdown. That's a possibility. If I'm going to pay down, I'm going to pay $2,400 for the Cowboys and take my chances there. Last four out for me, Herbert. I like him a lot. He's just right there in the middle. $6,800. He'll be one of the top 5-6 owned quarterbacks. Atlanta's secondary has been, successful this year. So I like him. A bounce back game. They looked like garbage last week. I think he'll come out firing. I think they could do well. So he was the last four out for me. Aaron Jones, the last four out, only because I liked Henry so much and Carson for a little bit cheaper. I think Carson's $700 cheaper than Jones. But I do like Jones this week. It's just, do you want to stack all those guys? You're paying up. By the time you go Rodgers, Jones, and Adams, you really need to find some value plays. I don't mind them. They're definitely going to be one of my stackable teams, the Packers, but he was just on the outside for me because I could save $700 with Chris Carson and still get Adams and Rodgers in there. Thielen, already mentioned it. I think Tampa Bay's on upset alert. I think Minnesota will go in there and play well. I know they're on the road. And Cousins has shown that he can drop an egg, lay an egg every once in a while. More of a gut play to me, but I have looked at all the metrics and all the kind of stuff I looked at. And I think Minnesota getting 6.5 is a great play this week. I like Jefferson. I like Thielen. I think they'll have good games. Julio is my last of the last four out, ranked 7th in my overall rankings. Huge discount this week, $6,600. I like him getting his second. It'll be his second game back. So had the injury concerns, played last week, got through it. I like him in the spot coming back. I think he's how much is he? $700 $900 cheaper than Ridley, which blows my mind. But obviously we had the big preseason bet on Ridley to go over the 1,000 yards. I'm not sure where he's at. So I want Ridley to go off for multiple reasons, but saving that $900, I don't mind Julio against the Chargers. I could see a little mini game stack there that could get there this week. And I like that game. As we get closer to Sunday, we'll see where we're sitting there. So he's my last of the last four out. My stackable teams, Packers, that's obvious. Seahawks, I think you can go Russell, Carson, pick your wide receiver, play both wide receivers. Pick and choose there. You can throw the defense in there with Carson and maybe go both wide receivers and you fade Russell. Go naked Aaron or something. I don't know. There's many possibilities there. So I like Packers. I like the Seahawks. And then my sneaky third stack that I've kind of added this year, I think the Jaguars or the Cowboys are going to be low owned, cheap stacks that could get there this week. I really like the Jaguars as a sneaky. It doesn't have to be big. It could be a mini stack, but I think they're going to be in it enough with Tennessee to pay off their prices. So if you're looking for a little mini stack, same with Dallas. They're playing the Bengals. Like if they can ever look good, it'd be this week. Do I say play Dalton? I don't know there, but I wouldn't. Zeke's going to be on my radar. He's $6,600. He could have a breakout game. I certainly like CeeDee Lamb. I like the defense. Cooper's in play. There's some pieces there, and they're cheap. I like Cooper, but Lamb's almost $2,000 cheaper. Same ceiling for me with those two this week. CD could have a breakout game. It's against the Bengals, whatever. Get a kickoff return. Defense pays off too. I certainly like the Dallas. And obviously I'm a Dallas fan, but I'm not high on them by any means. But if there was ever a week for them to get right and actually look somewhat like a professional football team, it'd be this week. Betting contest, Super 7 spreads. My number one play, Bills -2.5. My number two that I gave away as an official release already is Vikings +6.5. That's a free bet for you guys. My dog of the week is the Chargers. Not a big dog, but there's not a lot this day and age. Get this late in the season. 2.5 points at home, underdogs to the Falcons. I think the Chargers get bounce back week and beat Atlanta at home outright. So they're my underdog of the week. Leans for survivor picks. It's really three teams. If you haven't used one of these three, I think you use the Seahawks, Packers, or Chiefs. I think it's pretty simple. If you have, then you got to start, Saints maybe, but who knows in that situation what's going on. I think that's probably where I would go if I hadn't used those three. I have one of those three available, so that's where I'm at, but those are my top three survivor picks. As I mentioned, no audible this week. Little man's 7th birthday, so looking forward to that family time. I will have all the final rankings, thoughts, everything out either very late Saturday night or Sunday morning. I'll write that all up. I'll be in Slack that afternoon, especially if you're looking for some swap information, that kind of stuff. If you guys are playing Euro this week, good luck. I suck. I think I'm going to finish DFL in every. I only put a bullet in, but did not go well for me. LPGA, if you guys went that route, good luck there. I think college football, I made 30% ROI last night. You know, rinse and repeat. We're just killing college football. And trust me, I've gotten DMs from the guys that hate that their state doesn't allow college football DFS. I feel for you, because you know it literally is one of the best products we have in general. I mean, golf is solid always. MLB crushed it at the end, but we own college football industry right now, and we'll continue tonight. A great slate starts at 6 Eastern, 5 Central time. I think it was supposed to be a 5-game. I think it's down to a 4-game slate. A big slate again tomorrow. That started at like a 14 or 15 game. I think we're down to 10 or 11. The one thing I would say about college football, if you cannot be around Slack or lineup close to the locks, the key locks, don't play it, because that's our biggest advantage. We have so many eyes and ears out there. I'm in there all the time. I'm looking, other guys are looking, and we'll get word literally 10 minutes before lock. And it gives us a huge advantage, because most people don't do that. And in today's world where there's no college football will never release injury information, and people think it's because of their rules. It's not. It's because of HIPAA. And if you don't know what that means, go look it up. As college athletes, and I was one, we sign stuff that our information is protected under the HIPAA laws as a college athlete, a student athlete. So we will never get injury reports in college football, ever. So I know the betting, I know it sucks, but you're just not going to get it because of the HIPAA laws. So we have to rely upon scouring Twitter, looking for these beat writers that are there. And we start to actually make friendships with them, and, you know, and talk to them, and some of the other sites that are, you know, it's kind of like you're working together to figure out the information, but it's a lot of work and a lot of grunt work that we're doing to figure, but it's a huge advantage if you can find it. So it's not a sport that DFS wise, you can set your lineup Friday night for Saturday and move on. If you can't be around it enough and there at least to check in 10, 15 minutes before key lock time, 11, 2:30 for the main slates tonight, 5. I think there's a game at set. Like, if you can't be around at least enough to check it, I wouldn't play it, because you could literally lose a lot of money on a guy that out of nowhere is a no play. And we've had it happen over and over and over. And sometimes we don't get a word. We just got to eat it, right? It is what it is, but it's a great product. Bobby's done an amazing job. I'm really looking forward to 2021 with you guys. Next week, I'll send out that email once I finish up stuff with my team and get things finalized. Reminder, GC15 gets you 15% off of any product. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. I'm looking forward to celebrating my son's 7th birthday, and I will be in Slack in and out. Apologize for no audible this week, but we'll be fired back up next week. Have a good weekend. Have a blessed Friday. Thank you.